Confession to begin with. I haven't actually read that much cyberpunk stuff. All the cyberpunk stuff that I've been involved with has been kind of a secondary thing. Like my absolute favorite, for lack of knowledge, cyberpunk is from Torg. This is the Cyber Papacy. The basic story here is that Earth is invaded by 1500s, I think, Avignon. So the schism of the Catholic Church. And they try to invade our Earth. They were intercepted, and someone accidentally introduced them to 24th, 25th century technology, which ended up with them turning into a religious technocracy, which is obviously a bad thing. So, I don't know the link, is really what I'm getting at. I should. I feel like I owe it to the history of me as a sci-fi reader, fantasy reader, all that sort of stuff, to know a lot more about cyberpunk than I actually do. So that's my confession. And with that, it remains a Wednesday night. I am a Screaming Wyvern. I call myself Wyvern because I hoard role-playing games like a dragon. And tonight I am playing Killotine. By not writing games, probably a very usual sight on this stream, because the simple fact is December's fantastic. Their work is absolutely wonderful. And I own a lot of their stuff. So, not gonna stop showing them off. So, as you can probably guess from my introduction, Killotine is a cyberpunk role-playing game. And I say I don't know cyberpunk, but the simple fact of the matter is that, obviously, I know cyberpunk. Because the basic tenets of cyberpunk is that there's the poor and there's the corporations. And if you're not one of the lucky ones in the corporations, then you're the poor and you have no way of not being part of the poor. And desperation will make people make bad decisions, or at least interesting ones, if we want to be a little more positive about things. There's also one of the things that has been popular in the cyberpunk type stuff that I have been involved in, which of course is tangent to urban fantasy more than anything, is the idea that cybernetics will rot your soul. And this in and of itself is a horrible thing, because the implication is that someone who has lost a limb and needs it replaced is somehow lesser than someone else. And of course, a disabled person who is able to have an aid or isn't able to are just as important as anybody else. They have their own heart, they have their own soul, they have something to say. But, and this is an anti-AI rant, but what we do have is a system where people who should not have control over those things are the ones put in control of those things. So it's not that cybernetics are dangerous to the soul. It's the fact that the people who are creating those cybernetics are doing it with bad intentions. So there's a lot of people who will point to some of the original large language models and say, you can't be anti LLM, you can't be anti AI, because look at the things that, these are trying to do. Yeah, but they're not the people who are providing it to everybody. And there's no way that anything is ever given away for free without there being a cost. And in this case, the cost has been regularly proven to be a lack of creativity, a lack of understanding, the dumbing down, the removal of the soul that belongs to all of us. And this idea that somehow you must use this technology to make up for any failings that you could learn to work around. That's why in the classic cyberpunks, there's that death of spirit, that backlash from the gear. It has nothing to do with the cybernetics themselves. It's the fact that the big businesses that are forcing these out, regardless of the dangers, that's what's causing the problem. And of course, what's also causing the problem is there being a split between the haves and the have-nots. And that's where tonight's game comes in. Killotine, I'm going to say, is a 3-page solo role-playing game. It's what I like to call, number one, a dungeon hack. Basically, you go in, you find monster, you kill monster, you move on to next monster, which is never a bad thing. Always high on my to-do list. Secondly, it's a map maker game, or what I like to think of that, which means that I'm not just, going with phrases and words. I'm actually being given descriptions of the map so that I can actually put it down on the grid. And I'll go ahead and pull up the screen. It's beautiful. I'm using Dungeon Scrawl. I play Dungeon Crawl. So basically, there's our starting point. Like I said, technically 2 pages here. There's also a character sheet, but if you notice, on this full version, there's a lovely little fold, so you can just go ahead and make this into a cute little zine. It's kind of the same thing that Aaron Best's Cult Dreadful did. So for those of you who actually want to break away from the cybernetics, like I just ranted about, portable, can bring it with you. And there's a bunch of grids to print out. So this is the actual character sheet. I'll get more into that in a moment, but let's go ahead and start with the game. If you will observe, on the side, Killotine Solo Cyberpunk Roguelike, 1 to 2 hours, D100, 2D6, 2D4, and Murder the Oligarchy. I have almost all of those things here. It is the year 21XX. You are a cyberpunk. You and everyone you know is near 1,000-unit stack are in debt. In the spires above Prime City live the cybered-up wealthy. Their replaceable, expensive, luxury body parts could save you all from poverty. So, you run the spires, which means that you break into one of those wealthy corporate buildings, maybe an apartment or anything like that. And you try to take down your enemies. If you die, you get up again because of something called Guillotine mod, which is cyberware which will revive your body to an extent. And then you can go ahead and sell all their fancy parts. The objective is to pay off all your debts. So if we look quickly through here, we're using 2 6-sided dice in the way that we use 2 10-sided dice. There's going to be the first one for the tens place, another one for the 6th place. It's base 6 basically. Well, if you ignore the fact that there's no such thing as a 0, which makes it not quite base 6, I'm trying too hard to sound clever. I should never try and sound clever. But there are going to be exits from some places. There's just going to be problem areas. And obviously, if you run out of exits, the run is over and you need to get out and go back to the previous go back and prep for another assault on the spires. We've got some random options here for cyberpunk names. Obviously, because I am extremely clever and creative, I will be simply calling myself Screaming Wyvern. But let's go ahead and see what the stack we live in. Stack is obviously going to be small apartments stacked too close together, too many of them, to hold as many people as possible. We live in the city of Nod, which would be appropriate for when you're really only there to sleep and you do anything you can to get out. Let me just go ahead and okay. There's some other stuff here for people we might meet, but let's go ahead and deal with that later. Okay. Here's the character sheet. So you're a cyberpunk. Clever, fast, desperate, bold. You're flesh and blood. You're in debt, but you're desperate. If you die, the Guillotine mod will bring you back as a cyborg. So that leaves you bloody with exposed chrome. You're not fast anymore. You're shuffling and you're mumbling. You're just technically alive. And if the cyborg form fails, then you're going for the Kilobot, which would be bones, metal, and terror. And spite. Always spite. So there's a bunch of items. I'm going to start off with a Dataknife, which lets me roll a four-sided die for meat and a four-sided die for net. Meat is face-to-face combat with another person whose flesh can be cut. Net is when you're face-to-face with the robot, hacker. You're dealing with things through the net. And there's a few other items. Body armor and net armor going ahead and preventing a little bit of damage, for example. There's also a couple of premium corpo weapons that you could probably get your hands on, not to mention some extra cyberware. Now, you'll notice that there's these extra boxes. Normally, Cyberpunk is 16 hit points. Cyborg is 10 hit points. Theoretically, could spend 500 to go ahead and up the max hit points of the Kilobot. And then, of course, here's our list of debts. Right up here is going to be the one that we're really interested in doing, which is to get an emergency care fund for the stack and an emergency rent fund for the stack. But we start off with your personal body license, which is owning yourself, so you can't be picked up by the corpse for whatever reason they need. Everyone likes to have food and meals. Of course, it's free to everyone as long as, you know, they're willing to pay back the generosity. This is less of a direct debt and more of I owe someone some money, and once as soon as I pay off, then they're going to let me go ahead and let me access the workshop. The 400 credits really useful thing is being allowed to get oxygen. Then there is the co-op hospital fund, paying rent to make sure you can actually, sleep. And then there's a couple of places that, this credit score reset is absolutely less of a debt and more of a opportunity. So I've got all of that here on this lovely piece of paper. I'm using it for dice. It doesn't matter if this is upside down or not. Okay. I believe we should get into this. Let's do it. So, you start with a Dataknife and one item. 3 means I am going to... Ooh, this is a nice thing. This is a auto pistol, an AMZN6, which is going to let me do D6 meat damage instead. So I ain't complaining about that. Okay. You start each run in a square lobby with 2 to 6 exits. 4 exits, exactly as I prepared, because I got ahead of myself. So let's go ahead and see what the spire we're in is. So we are visiting reclaimed crystal spire. Fancy. Okay. So I'm going through the door up top. This die is going to be the tens place. This die is going to be the ones place. I rolled a... I've already forgotten what I just said. Okay, so this is a large rectangular boardroom with a wooden desk. I want this wall back. Rectangle tool, draw, snap on. I've forgotten how to do this. That was really, really quick. Okay, there will be a small period of embarrassment. Please enjoy. Because I thought Right. Okay. That's fine. I'm fine. This door has wandered off. And do I have, by any chance, a desk? Oh. It's certainly not the right time period, but I'll take it. Okay, there is one exit out of here. Tens place, ones place. Don't forget it again. 32. 32, trying to go through there, I end up going against a gang of flesh Puritans. So, combat is quick and easy. I get to do 1 to 6 damage. They get to do 1 to 4 damage. If they roll higher, I take the difference. Otherwise, they take the difference. So, for example, we both rolled a 1, which means that absolutely squat jack happened. Very exciting. New version. I rolled a 3, which is greater than their 2 by 1, leaving them with 2 hit points. 4 to their 2, which means that they have been deceased. So now we go ahead. Well, they're flesh Puritans, so obviously they're not going to have any cyberware we can steal. And yet I got 89 credits off of them. $89 credits worth of raw material, that is. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't pay to be picky. Or, more to the point, sometimes it pays really, really well not to be picky. Okay. So, 14. We're trying to go through this exit, and yet we're finding flies. I have flies in my room all of a sudden. I don't know why they think that I am enticing. They've left me alone all day while I was working. I used to have a fly swatter. Sorry. So with the flesh Puritans failing to get us, now we've got some IT geek trying to do the job with a remote suit. Unfortunately, that's not going to be quite as effective for my gun. So we're going to go ahead and try and hack them instead. There it is. Okay. So I'm using the Zoki version of the D4 for the opponent, and I'm using this beautiful rainbow for myself. Okay, double 2s. Nothing happens in that part of the fight. 2 to my 3, so I have lost 1 hit point. stupid neural feedback. One all. That's a 3. This is unlikely to be anything but pain for me. Oh, okay. I guess that's why originally I need to get a dice tower if I'm going to keep doing it this way. And I am going to keep doing it this way. That was brutal. So, frankly, I am ass when it comes to fighting through the net. Yeah. I could try and escape, but I don't think it's going to be that interested in letting me go. Oh! And then abruptly, I overcome all my failings, hack the security suit, which collapses to the ground like the dead thing. It's not actually. And I get to roll a D100 to see what I can pull from it. 92. Good heavens. Let's do some quick math over here. So currently I'm sitting at 181 credits. That sounds like a good number, but it barely pays off my body license. So let's keep going. Now, first, just quickly making sure that I'm doing it right. I recently played a stream of the amazing game Village Emporium, and a new expansion for that came out. I was watching the video of how to play and discovered that I had done just so many things wrong. Probably just because I didn't reread the rule book. So, yeah. 66. That is an extremely bad thing. That is an extremely bad thing. Because whatever the next area is, I swear, I am going to go ahead and get a next room if it kills me. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's absolutely fine by me. Okay. So the next region is going to be a large round casino area. But because I am on the wrong layer, it's going to look like absolute ass. Okay, there we go. There's going to be 2 exits out of it. Okay. Because I am running into an actual corpo employee. It's an actual honest to God security officer, not some revved up cyberpunk or IT punk. Do kids still say revved up? So this is security officer. Glory Coda. And what does Glory Coda have? Glory has chrome and gold arms, which means she can do D6 for her meat, which is good for her, since I have the same. So, the red for her. So that was 1 point. This is going great. Okay, this is going great. So Glory goes down quite rapidly. And because, well, let's face it, because they've got those chrome and gold arms, we're going to be able to tear those off, put them into a bag. So 30, 45. That's right. The math says, ha ha. She was less valuable than that arm you picked up. The, actual arm. Oh well. Okay. So now I can move into the casino area. Going to start heading to the right to start off with. And where's my pretty D6? Pretty D6. Pretty D6. 21. A narrow pedestrian bridge over SkyTrain tracks. Which offers me one exit. Eh. 32. Well, aren't you guys popular? So yeah, the Flesh Puritans are coming to say hi again. It didn't go well for them last time, but this time no one manages to do any damage, followed by them doing 1 point of damage to me. Follow them by them doing 2 more points of damage to me. Followed by me doing 2 damage to them, leaving them with 1, and boom. I believe something about blood sausage is required to be mentioned at this point. Now, will these Flesh Puritans have limbs that are worth way more than any gold chrome? No, we've gone down to 17, so that seems far more logical. I am about, not quite, but about halfway there. Whoa ho, living on a prayer. Hold on just 1 second. Looking at some things. All right. Back to it. So, tried to get out from the pedestrian crossing or the skywalk. Didn't go well because of the flesh Puritans. 41, but it gets us into a nightclub, which is the sort of thing that would be very exciting if you weren't the kind of person who doesn't get invited to such things. But I'm sure that I can just go ahead and sneak through and no one's going to notice me. Because that's happened so often at this point. 61. Okay. Well, now I'm sad. So yeah, this is obviously the nightclub owner's boardroom. Nightclub owner's. Throw a desk there for S's and G's. And let's see. I guess we'll go ahead and keep having the exit over on this side. Since obviously I can go up there, can go on there. So passing through, eyes open for danger. 52. A vat-grown cyber assassin. Okay. So, on the one hand, they don't hit very hard, but on the other hand, they don't take damage so good. So, another of those lovely situations where it's at least my gun versus they're trying to hit me with big meaty fists. So that takes them down to 4. That takes them down to a total of 4, leaving them with 1. And I take another point of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I should start thinking about getting the frog out of here. Because I'm down to half hit points. But I have taken out another of, like, I'm in the boardroom for the nightclub. I feel like technically the assassin was not here for me. So I just accidentally saved a corpo. So I kind of feel bad about that. 15 credits for the bits and pieces. Probably because vat grown is nowhere good as all natural. Something the flesh Puritans would probably agree with me about if I hadn't killed so many of them. All right. 65. That is a rectangular skybar. Definitely seems like an appropriate thing to have adjacent to the nightclub's boardroom. And it has one exit for me. I think we're going to go ahead and take that down. $32. Oh, it's my old friends once again. It's the Flesh Puritan. Yay! My gun. They're making fun of me for having a mod in my spinal column. They do not succeed in making me feel bad about the aforementioned spinal column mod. Yay. Blippy and Bloopy? That is a... Ooh. 70. A nice bit of... A nice number of cred after a long drought of good hauls. There we go. 24. So this one's a corporate bodyguard with some arm blade implants, but that doesn't really make him much more impressive than those Puritans. Oh dear, and it does not make him bulletproof in the slightest. So 6 versus their 1. It had 3 hit points. It has nothing now. Oh, let's take money first. Money first, then exploration. 72. Which I believe is rounding me 400. Okay. 100 more, and I can head home and see about throwing all of the money into the Stacked Communal Co-op Fund so that my next attempt, I'm going to have some of my hit points back. Or I could do 250 to pick up a med stab. We'll see what the next roll gives me. Okay. 22. An aggressive... Oh. Okay. Not ice. Intrusion counter electronics. So clearly I was trying to get out of here by using a computer, and it didn't like that. Now, as we know, my net running skills lead a lot to be desired, just like my ability to find my 4-sided die without standing up. Three to their 4. Where was the ice? Ice, baby. 3 hit points, perfect. So down to 2. Oh, I take 3 whole hit points from the feedback. Brutal. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I have 4 hit points remaining. But I don't get to go nowhere until I've got the cash. Because whoever my contact is to get me into the Spires wants to make sure that I've done something useful for them first. 72. That's funny. That's the same number we got last time. So yeah, just go ahead and pull some bits of computer out of the wall as you do. And head for our next encounter with a 36. Which, oh, they've called in the police. Well, they're going to be very disappointed because they seem to have some kind of truncheons while I have a gun. USA, USA. Ow. Okay. Okay. Someone got cocky and has 1 hit point remaining. Someone got over cocky and has no hit points remaining. So, corpse lying on the ground. They go to get somebody. And the Guillotine mod figures some of these places where the blood is coming on, they can just go. Just go ahead. If they're not here anymore, then they're not bleeding. So it just goes ahead and cuts all the damaged parts off my body, leaving me bloody and with exposed chrome. But that doesn't stop us from trying to complete our mission. 12. 12 is a personal defense automaton. So, yeah, as if the police weren't enough. But that's okay, because I can still hold my gun. My amazing auto pistol. 2 points of damage to it. And just absolutely unnecessary amount of damage later. That's good. 61. So that sets me up for 533. But the fact is, I'm half the man I used to be, but that also means that I have full hit points again. So is it valuable for me to get out just yet? No, not really. I'm a cyborg. Oh. Fantastic. So, trying to continue down south, we run into the CEO themselves. CEO of the Reclaimed Crystal, Daryl. I know Daryl, really nice person. Daryl Denham. And what does Daryl have? Daryl has a cranial AI drive. So it doesn't matter how much I dish out. He's backed up. So this is a net fight. He's at D6 plus 1. 3 hit points. I am regretting certain choices I made a moment ago. The one about, well, I'm at full hit point. Why should I leave now? Okay, so this is a hacker battle, trying to shut down his little AI helper that's keeping him backed up, and failing absolutely miserably. Three points damage, leaving 7. Ooh, another brutal feedback. That would be 6, leaving me 4. My God. 2. And another 2. So I have failed to defeat Daryl, and now I am nothing but bones, metal, and fear. If I do get another corpo, I'm going to make that going back to Daryl. But this is a square personal gym and yoga studio. I suppose that makes sense, right next to a nice place to watch the clouds. So bleep bleep. Continue through 24. 24 would be a corporate bodyguard. Um, 1 point of damage. We like meat fights, you know. We should get better, but yeah, sometimes my little auto pistol is just it's too much of a friend. Please stand by. Proving truly American at heart. Gun is friend shaped. Okay. How much does defeating the bodyguard net me? 21. Okay. I think this is where we retire. So yeah, Screaming Wyvern the first, nothing but bones and metal, and 554 credits, is going to pay off some debts for people. Let's see if I do. If I do the stack workshop for 300, then I can start the next game with an extra item. And we'll go ahead and pay off someone's meal license. So I'm going to go ahead and print my butt a new copy of this. Please stop thinking that I want 100 copies of anything ever again. So some of the stack's debts here in the... Get back to the pages. Back here in the city of Nod have been replaced. Let's go ahead. So this is going to be some mutt. Okay. Smut starts with their Dataknife and a lovely 2 items, unlike the Screaming Wyvern 1. Smut is in a much better position if we go back. So a 1, this is not the right page. This is not the right page. This is alphabetical. Let's go ahead and actually look at the page. Derby derby derb. Okay, a 1 is a med stab. It's a strongly used med stab, but I at least get 1 use where I can recover D4 hit points. I also got some blade grenades, 2 of them. And blade grenades are going to let me twice do a D10 roll for my meat. That's not bad. Assuming that I don't drop them on my own damn self. Which has happened before. What you doing? You seem very angry. Please stop being angry. You are still angry. What have I done? How have I upset you, Mr. Camera? You're plugged into power, or at least you used to be. Somehow, this game about future technology failures has become a real life about technology failures. Where is my face? Give me back my face! Fine. Instead of a Screaming Wyvern, you will have a Roxanne Wolf. Beautiful and fluffy. I know, immersive. Absolutely immersive. Since I'm not bothering showing myself, let's go ahead and add a little more space for that. You can go down here, and I'm still here. Hi. I mean, I suppose if it was important enough to see my face, I could go ahead and just do the entire thing from this angle. It's not necessarily comfortable, but I could, like, pick up the dice with my mouth. This is not how I want to get viewers. Okay. Well, face or not, I'm still here. So we start off in a square lobby. Four by four this time. Why not? Okay. How many exits? D4 plus 1. So that is 2 exits. Let's go ahead and go with the most common choices. 1 right here and 1 right here. And this time I will be headed in the southerly direction. 46. 46 is the network has been compromised. So even Stevens on the combat. I don't actually know what that phrase means. I started off with admission. Here's another admission. I don't know what even Stevens means or why I even said it. So yeah, starting off strong by getting a hit. Starting off stronger by getting 2 hits. And finally doing 1 point of damage against the malware. Yeah, I am not built for fighting AI. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh God, finally another point of damage. Evens. And finally, I have taken them. It occurs to me as I grab my earnings that I never actually figured out where I was right now. So that is 26. So run 1 is taking place at reconstituted Ziggurat Spire. The reconstituted Ziggurat Spire. I feel like having 2 different descriptions for a large towering object is probably a little redundant, but it does fit in with the kind of stupid stuff we're used to in the world lately. Okay. Still trying to head south. 61 is a boardroom. And of course, for old time's sake, we're going to shove a completely inappropriate desk right smack dab in the middle. One exit. Shall I be boring? No, it's going to be behind the desk for a change of pace. And as I make my way through that door, I come across... Huh. That is both awesome and... a little bit hard for me to figure out how to draw. Okay, so it is a pyramid-shaped library with 1 exit, which might as well go there. With shelves of antiques, you would think. I think I read that wrong, but too late now. It makes for a pretty hat for the staff room. 54. 54 is a rabid AI. Great. It's a Nets fight, and it has 5 freaking hit points. Two versus my 3, so that leaves it with 4. No damage. 1 damage to me. I can take it. Don't know why this version of the printout is even lighter than the one before. Two and a 3, so that's another point of damage. Oh, I hate net fights. Another point of damage. I want something with body so I can throw a grenade at it and feel better about myself. I 5 hit points, right. So that leaves him with 3. Ouch. Another 3 points of damage. Sheesh. 5 hit points remaining. Okay. That takes down to 2 remaining. And that's the last 2 with the 4 there. Okay. Pick up a little bit of cash, and then we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of jabby. 46. Or 5, 6, 72 currently. Okay. Let's see how little damage I heal. Oh, 3 points of damage. That's actually much better than I was afraid of. Ooh. Okay. Do I get out of here, or do I just run into another protector? 63 is a yoga. So that wasn't quite what I was going for. Close enough. Okay, and the gym has a door, which we will go ahead and stick right there for tradition. So, walking through the yoga studio, 56, leads us to a fight with a mech suit, for which I am going to use one of my grenades because bleep this noise in the bleeper. So 7 to its 2 is 5. Boom. Okay. Was that overkill? Yes. Was that a sign of frustration? Yes. Did it feel good? Also, yes. 24. Was it worth it? It was not. Yeah. Smut is moving even slower in the financial range than Wyvern did. 32. Oh, it's our old friends, the Flesh Puritans. I know I lack the advantages that the old me did. 3 and 3. 1 and 1. 4 and 1. That's 3. Boom. I like meat battles. Meat battles are better than network battles. Apparently. We're not sure why. I felt the die move under my hand. Pull 113. We're never getting out of here. 45. 45 is a long glass hallway above beautiful gardens. Am no longer interested in having diagonal rooms. I'm also not again. Whoops. Okay. So we have two exits. We'll put one right here and we'll put the other one right here. And I will be trying to go out that exit. But when I attempt to, I do absolutely fine and run into another triangular library. I am going to be a coward. And cheat. Okay. That was a lot of work. I guarantee that after all that, Smut is going to die in this next account. 21. Okay. But we are not at an encounter yet. So this is that long walkway over. SkyTrain tracks. And now I'm just randomly creating stuff. Okay. And is there anyone on these tracks? No, there's going to be a foyer with extinct plants, which is probably most of them. So yeah, we've basically gotten into a new building in the Spire. Let's go ahead and have one of the two exits here and one of the two exits here. And we'll go ahead and go in a southerly direction. 41 is a circular nightclub. Loop, loop, loop. And where are the exits? Two of them. I guess that means one's down here at the bottom and one's over here on the side. 63 is another gym. And yoga pad. Which leads into another foyer. Foyerception. Two exits, one here and one here. Great. The original Wyvern could not find a room to save his life. This Wyvern can do nothing but find rooms. Okay, so this character isn't called Wyvern, but you get the point. 51 to exit. Let's go ahead and have one continue this way. The other continue this way. 25. A rectangular floor full of servants' quarters. Ew. Ew. And it has one exit, which might as well be right here. $22. Oh, and trying to get out of here sets off a ice subroutine. And it's a net fight, so I am filled with lack of confidence. But I've already done 1 point of damage, which is amazing. 3 hit points. And then it makes me regret using the word amazing in a sentence. So I am 4 hit points away from death. It is 1 hit point away from death. And it has been absolutely taken down. And I am able to use the information I got from it. Ooh, 66 is a nice number. Okay. So we continue exploring. 25 is more of the servants' quarters. No. Okay. 32. More. I tell you, more of them there flesh Puritans. And me rapidly losing brain. 41. Ouch. 1, 2, 3. Leaving with 1 hit point left. 1 point of damage to them. 2 points of damage to them. And I suppose we will take our pound of flesh in the most literal way, which is a whopping 11. Nothing I can leave with. Currently sitting at 190. 26. Oh, a net terminal with an Overwatch Demon app. Now, obviously, this means that the terminal has an Overwatch app on it. But I am going to pretend that this terminal has a demon in it who is playing Overwatch. How does this help me? It doesn't. This is purely for my own amusement. So this is another net fight. Now, given how things are working, I don't think I do my usual. That's one. Where's the Overwatch? Three hit points. 2 hit points left. Cyberpunk no more. We are going to go ahead and accept our failure and assume that they're in the process of trying to drag me back out. Cyborg. Bits and pieces chopped off of me. Unfortunately, all of the combat that has done severe damage to me has been in the net fights, which means that I'm pretty much a headless zombie at this point, because that's the part which has clearly failed the most. 51. So this brings us to a large circular casino. Let's go ahead and start it right there. And we'll go ahead and make an exit right here and right here for old time's sake. Trying to take our way through the west doors. 53 is our old friend, the Triangular Library, which we will again be doing incorrectly. Because I'm afraid of having another event where I'm drawing diagonal rectangles again. 44. Okay, guarding this is a corporate lackey with a pistol and a clip-on tie. Now that my brain has been removed, let's see if I'm any better or worse at fighting. Now, admittedly, I could just drop a grenade, but I should check things out first. 2 points of damage. 3 points of damage to me, however. Dice lands on the floor. Dog wonders what was going on. Dog tries to eat die. Corporate lackey. It wasn't food. Yeah, it wasn't food. You can stop looking for it, sweetheart. Cole, there's nothing there. And there's a helicopter. No, everyone says bring back the dog. Go ahead and see if I made off with anything too impressive. But no. There's 33 credits worth of stuff. 223. Where's my favorite sexist? It's the one that I've been using. 44 again. Wow. Okay, so apparently he had a brother, and apparently I'm dropping a grenade, and apparently he's been blown to bits. Uh, 51 credits. 4, 5, 6, 7, 274. Halfway there. If I roll 44 again, I'm going to have to assume that this is rigged. 51. 51 is another casino level. We have reached Casino Central. And we're going to go ahead and put a southern door and a northern door. 21. This is another narrow pedestrian bridge thing. Which, of course, leads to a door here. $54. But in order to get through, I have to deal with a rabid AI, not to be confused with a rabbit AI, which does not sound quite as threatening as some things. 1 all. 1.2 it. And it is 5 hit points. Ooh. So that 4 away from it. It's only got the 1 hit point left. And then it smacks me for 3 in return. Never get cocky. And there's that 1 hit point that I needed to take it down. Okay, for a whopping 12. My life is on the phone, so I close the door so I don't interrupt. And dog is angry and thirsty. Okay. 21. So apparently, no, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and play her fiat that one. That's silly. 42. A banker with an aggressive net scrambler. An aggressive net strangler. No. So that is another point of damage to my tiny, tiny brain. Another point of damage to my tiny, tiny brain. It's just like real life. It has a 3. I have a 4, so that leaves it with 2 hit points. 2 and 2, no biggie. 4 and 1, much biggie. 8, 9, 10. This is where I'd go ahead and go Pillowbot mode, but the dog is antsy as hell. So we will go ahead and put the camera on him, much to his distaste, and I will go ahead and do my outro as he sniffs around. So this has been Killotine, a great way to get in some quick dungeon crawl action. Available at notwriting.itch.io. And as always, we'll see you next week. And remember, puppy, 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 puppy. Beep. Puppy. Cool. Cool. He's not going to look at the camera. We'll have to force him to look. Look at it. Look at no. He's going into hiding. Good night. See you next week.